Cold email is officially broken now in 2025 going into 2026. You're spending hours building lists, warming up domains, and building email sequences, only to watch 17% of your emails never actually hit the inbox. But what if I told you there's a way to get even better results with just 15 minutes of work? No email lists, no dealing with spam filters, and no warming up domains. And I personally used this method to book over 300 sales calls in the last 60 days. I'm going to show you exactly how this works. So first, let me show you why cold email is dying, and then I'll reveal what's actually working. Here's the reality of cold email in 2025. These are from actual industry studies that will all be linked down below in the description. First of all, 17% of your cold emails will actually never reach the inbox. They're literally dead on arrival. And that's from Infraforge's 2025 study. Second, inbox placement has actually collapsed from 50% all the way down to 27%. That means if you send 100 emails, only 28 of them will actually land in the inbox. And the other 72 will either go to spam or promotions. And third, even if your emails do get delivered to the right inbox, open rates have dropped from 36 down to 27%. That's a 23% decline. So if you do the math and you send 100 cold emails, 17 of them will not reach the recipient at all. Of the 83 that do, only 23 of them will actually land in the inbox and the rest will go to spam. And of those 23 in the inbox, maybe 6 to 7 of those will actually get opened. And out of those, maybe 1 or 2 of them will reply. So you're spending hours and hours getting everything set up for just a measly 1 or 2 replies per 100 emails. And these aren't even positive replies, so these could be out of office or someone saying they're not even interested. So I don't know about you, but in my eyes, that's a total waste of time. To run a proper cold email campaign, you need to buy or build email lists, you need to buy a bunch of domains, you need to set up inboxes for each one of those domains, you need to get these added to an email sending tool, then you need to wait for the warm up. Then once email warm up is complete, you have to build a lead list and you have to verify those lead lists and you have to upload them, and then you actually send, and then you end up realizing that you're getting a bunch of bounces and your reply rates just end up suffering way more than the numbers that I just walked through. And so you're looking at multiple hours of setup for just a couple percentage points in terms of reply rates. And after all that work, you're dealing with spam filters, low open rates, and terrible response rates. And so obviously there has to be a better way, right? Well, there actually is. And before I show you what the better way is, if you're sick and tired of cold email already and you just want to get going with the new method, hit the first link down below in the description to get everything set up for completely free within the next 20 minutes. So what's the channel that takes 15 minutes to set up? You're not dealing with any spam filters and actually gets you high quality responses in 2025 going into 2026. It's Twitter DMs. I know what you're thinking. Twitter, isn't that just for memes and news? And you thinking that is exactly why this works so well. While everyone's fighting over replies on email and LinkedIn, Twitter is absolutely a blue ocean right now. And the best part is almost nobody is using Twitter outreach for B2B. Just think about it. Your perfect prospects are probably getting hundreds, if not thousands of cold emails every single month. Same thing on LinkedIn. And they're probably just getting maybe a couple dozen, maybe a handful of cold DMs on Twitter every single month. So there's 3 main ways as to why Twitter DMs is the laziest, meaning the smartest way to get clients right now. First of all, every single message you send will land in someone's request inbox. No spam filters, straight into their request, where people check every single day to see if they've gotten any new messages. It just works beautifully. Second, it's super easy to personalize using AI. Whenever you find someone on Twitter, their Twitter profile is literally a goldmine for personalization. You can look at their recent tweets, you can look at any websites in their bio, you can look at who they've interacted with recently. It's literally all there, and it's all data points that you will not find with any data provider. And so this makes it so that you don't have to look everywhere for a couple very key personalization points. And number 3, CEOs and founders are very active on Twitter. Again, this is where they're hanging out. They're posting, they're engaging, they're having conversations with people. They're spending a ton of their time on Twitter. And the best part about it is that you're not going through gatekeepers. They typically don't have their assistants on Twitter like they will do on LinkedIn or cold email, just because those are more traditional ways of doing outreach. And so they know that they're going to be getting a bunch of cold emails on obviously email and a bunch of DMs on LinkedIn until they have their assistants on there as gatekeepers. And they simply don't have that on Twitter. And so you get 100% deliverability, easy access to individuals, and easy personalization. And that's why this is such a goldmine right now for landing B2B clients. All right, so here's what this looks like in practice. In the last couple of days, I've sent right under 1,000 DMs, and this literally took me like 5 minutes to set up. As you can see, I've gotten a 7.6% reply rate, which means 71 total replies with just maybe 5 minutes of setup. And so compare that to email, where again, it takes you tons of hours to set up for maybe a 3 to 5% reply rate. Just by looking at this example, if we were to say on average cold email gets a 5% reply rate, which in my experience is really, really hard to do, Twitter still outperforms those reply rates by 50%. And so all in all, they just take way less of your time and get you way better results. All right, so how do you actually get this all set up? So step number 1 is finding qualified prospects. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is you wanna open up Twitter, and now you're just gonna look for someone that is an authority in your space. So let's say you are trying to reach out to SaaS founders. We would just go after a big SaaS founder, and then we would look at who he follows. So in this case, we are going to go after Levels.io, and then we are actually going to open up a Google Sheet right there. Now we're going to take his link. We are going to go into Sheets. We're going to paste his link in there. Now we're going to look at who he follows, right? Because Levels obviously has a bunch of SaaS companies that are doing really well. So we're going to go in here, co-founder, Client Ascension, founder of, okay, so this guy clearly has a SaaS. We're gonna go in here, and what you wanna keep note of as you are building your list is you want to look at what keywords these guys have in their bio, and I'll show you why that is important here shortly. So building software I love to use, we're gonna take him in there. And so you get the point. And how you make this an endless list is once you've gone through all of the people that Levels follows, you can just look at your list and then just do the same thing for the next guy. So here we have Danny Postman, I think, Postma. Then we are going to go look at who he follows. And again, Big Design, Building Podcast FM, or Podscan FM. And then again, just a bunch more SaaS founders. And this is how you want to start building your list. You go after someone that your ICP would follow, and then you look at everyone that that person follows, and then you just keep going and you keep making that list bigger and bigger. And so that's it. You can spend 5 minutes doing this and you are gonna get a couple dozen high quality people to reach out to. And trust me, this is way faster and you're gonna get way higher quality leads than doing something somewhere on LinkedIn or just spending a ton of money and time building a list for a cold email. So step number 2 is actually crafting your message. If you have no clue what you're doing, I'm gonna give you a cheat code so that literally takes you 30 seconds. But if you know what you're doing, you can just use whatever script is working if you're doing any sort of other outreach, or link down in the description, I'm gonna leave a cheat sheet with a bunch of templates that you can use to actually just get up and running super quickly with your Twitter outreach. All right, so this is a document that I was talking about, and you can take examples from here. But if you have no idea what you want to reach out to, maybe you don't even have an offer yet, which you really should. But if you don't, maybe even if you do have an offer, this script that I'm about to give you has been working stupidly well. It's one of those where you can't even explain why it works so well, but it just works really, really well if you're targeting the right people, okay? So here we go. This is what the script is. It's literally yo, first name. That's it. Yo, first name. That's literally it. It's 2 words. It works super, super, super well. Or if you want to take it one step above, you can say, yo, what's up? First name. I've seen some of the biggest players in the space use this and have over 10% reply rates. This, in my eyes, the reason why it works is because you just come off as someone cool that just wants to start a conversation. It's not you trying to sell something to someone. It's not you being super low status in the Twitter game, if you will, and asking for someone's time or asking someone you don't know for something. It's literally just you starting a conversation, and if your profile is optimized correctly, this will get you a ton of replies. So I highly recommend you check it out. Now, if you want to go more direct, again, second link down below the description will give you access to this whole document that has a bunch of our best performing scripts and different templates that you can literally just plug and play to start sending as quickly as possible. Now, before we move on, I'm actually going to show you something that I super key that comes really in handy whenever you're personalizing, and that makes Twitter super amazing for AI personalization. So here we have a script that has been one of our best performers all time, and it uses AI twice. So first we're saying, hey, first name, I put together a list of 1,000, and then we're saying use the leads website to determine who their ideal customer might be, insert a list of 2 to 4 job titles for the customer types that fit their ideal customer profile here. So we're using AI to determine who our prospects or who our leads prospects are, or who their ICP is, and then just name dropping their ICP. And then we are also using AI to figure out what service our lead provides. So we're saying describe the product or service that the lead is advertising on their site. Here, keep this very brief, use as few words as possible. And then we're saying, cool if I send it over. And so this is how you're able to leverage AI and just leverage the fact that you are looking at someone's Twitter profile to personalize very, very quickly. And again, no research tools, you're not guessing, you're just looking at what is in their profile and using that to your advantage. So step 3 is just sending DMs, and this will just take you a couple minutes. So it's literally just copying and pasting the message over and over again, just replacing people's name and the personalization if you're not using a tool. And once you're actually sending messages, you wanna make sure you track everything in something like this tracker that I have right here on screen. Third link down in the description will get you access to this tracker for completely free. What you can do is you can have the date, the name, Twitter link, website, and then status, right? So where they're at in your funnel. And that's it. That's literally like at max 15 minutes a day. And if you want to do this completely manually, you can just repeat and have this be a 15-minute thing every day where you are finding new leads and then just reaching out to them manually. And so the next question people ask me is, okay, now I know how to reach out to people, but what do I say once they reply? And I really can't tell you like exactly what to say, but my best tip for booking as many appointments as possible is number 1, just actually providing value to people in the DMs, and number 2, replying quickly. That is single-handedly the most important thing when it comes to booking meetings after someone replies. If someone replies to your message and it takes you another couple of days to get back to them, odds are you won't book them in. But if you reply back to them as soon as they reply, or just maybe a couple seconds, a couple minutes afterwards, odds are they're still on Twitter, they're still thinking about your DM, or they still remember it. And so you can capitalize on that to actually get them to hop on a call with you. All right, so what happens if you actually want to scale past your first account and you don't want to spend all day searching for leads and copy and pasting messages onto Twitter? What happens if you actually want to automate this whole thing? Well, this is where I use a tool called Drippy.ai. Drippy allows you to automatically scrape leads, send highly personalized messages using AI to each and every single one of your prospects, and then it actually sends all these messages on complete autopilot in the background while you're sleeping, so you can just worry about getting those notifications every time someone replies and getting them to hop on a call with you. All right, so if we want to go back to our previous example, we want to reach out to everyone that levels follows or just SaaS founders in general. I would take his link, then I would go into Drippy. I would go into leads here on the left-hand side of your screen. Then I do new lead source, lead scraper. Then I do account source, paste levels in there. Then I'd hit everyone that he follows as soon as his account loads here on screen. All right, so here we go, load it up. Now we can select 2.3K, we can add, then we can add as many account sources as we'd like. So we can go into our list, we can take our second guy, we can paste him, then we're gonna hit everyone that he follows, we're gonna hit add source, we're gonna hit next. Now we can add bio content. So we can, for example, reach out to everyone that has the word CEO in their bio, maybe CEO or founder in their bio. That is followed by one of these two guys. So from 3,000, our list should go down to, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people or right under 1,000 people. But these are all gonna be super high quality. So there we go, 760. And if we wanted to make that list even higher quality, we can add number of followers and have that be greater than 1,000, which I'm guessing is gonna be most of these. But as soon as this loads, it should be, I'm guessing maybe 500, maybe 700, let's see. Okay, there we go. So we have 637 people that have either founder or CEO in their bio and have more than 1,000 followers. That is followed by one of these guys. So we're gonna call this levels demo. We're gonna hit save, and now we're all good to go. Now to actually start an automation, we just hit new cold DM 2.0. We're gonna hit add new. We're gonna go cold DM. We're gonna hit next. For select source, we're just gonna look up the source we just uploaded, which is the levels demo. We're gonna select script personalizer. We're gonna hit next. Here for context, we just wanna give the AI a little bit of context about what it is that you do. We're gonna say, hey, yo, we're just gonna say, yo, what's up, first name, like I showed you. Then we're gonna hit next. We're not gonna add any variants, we're not gonna add any follow-ups, and we are going to schedule out 500 messages every single day. And since our list is such high quality, you don't even need to add these extra filters. We're just gonna hit next. Now we're just gonna give this a name. We're gonna call it levels demo. We're gonna select my personal account, and once you hit create, you're sending highly personalized messages at scale while you sleep. And so I can set up this campaign once and it'll run on complete autopilot. It finds the leads, it personalizes each and every single message so you don't have to copy paste. It sends them, and then it even tracks everything for you. So instead of sending maybe 10 to 50 manual DMs every single day, you can be sending hundreds of DMs, up to 500 actually per day per account. So just think about the sheer volume on that if you're getting anywhere between 5 to 7% in each one of those accounts. Now, obviously you don't need the automation to start. You can do this whole thing manually, just spending 15 minutes a day. But if you want to take it to the next level, I recommend you automate the whole thing. So here's what we covered in today's video. First, we talked about how cold email is broken in 2025 going into 2026. How 17% of emails don't even reach the inbox, and out of those that do, most of them don't even get read. We also talked about how Twitter DMs gives you 100% deliverability, how it's super easy to personalize because of all the info that you have in there, and how you get direct access to real decision makers. We also talked about the 15-minute daily system where first you find leads manually, then you copy and paste messages into the chat, and then you reach out to maybe 10 to 50 of those guys every single day to actually start generating conversations and booking calls. And then once you're ready to scale and actually want to take it to the next level, you can add multiple accounts to a tool like Drippy.ai to scrape leads for you, personalize messages for you, and actually do the whole manual sending process on complete autopilot while you sleep. And once again, if you want to try this out for yourself, the easiest way to do this is by using Drippy.ai. First link down in the description will get you a 7-day free trial to get this up and running for completely free. You can set up your first campaign in about 20 minutes. You'll have a one-on-one onboarding call, and you can send your first 250 messages on the house. And if you want to know what Alex Hormozi has to say about outreach and how that applies to Twitter outreach specifically, hit this video on screen. I think you'll find it valuable. I appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.